Charles Bursell presents.
This is the aforementioned Charles Bursell. Thanks for listening. We got a good show for you today. I'm going to go down the street here. I have a neighbor who's a painter, a very special painter. We're going to get a tour of his studio. Chucky Bucky's. I saw him at the water cooler earlier. He's ready with one of his singular commentaries that only Chucky Bucky can provide. Hi, Peter. How are you? This is Peter Donalds, our musical director. I got some commentary at the end that I'm going to weigh in on a topic, and the CBP players. So let's get started. Wow, these are some really nice paintings you have here. You're quite a painter.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much.
They're so striking.
Yes, they are.
And very realistic.
Yes, absolutely. I paint realistic. Only things I see.
Only things you see?
Yes. No fantasy, no abstraction. Everything's from real life.
From real life? Well, some of these look pretty fantastical. For example, this one here, these sort of demonic figures, horrible rape scenes.
Yes, that's taken from real life.
So you've seen this?
Oh, of course. I only paint from live models.
I don't understand. Who is your model for this one?
Well, he's right across the street. Don't you see him? Look out the window.
I'm not sure what you're talking about. I don't see anything.
He's right there. He's been there for the last several days.
You mean the guy up on the roof? The guy pounding shingles?
Hola, amigo.
Yes, of course. That's him.
And that's what you see, a demonic rapist.
Yes, of course. And not only that, I'm quite sure he's going to come over here and try to steal my job as a painter. I've got all my doors bolted because of the demon who's been there across the street. He's pure evil, and he's going to steal my job as a painter.
You think he'll steal your job?
Oh, I'm quite sure of it, unless something is done. And even more importantly, he's going to rape my daughters.
Okay, so there's a demon. Again, these paintings are quite beautiful in their own disturbing way. Here's one that's even worse. It seems to be some sort of a slaughterhouse where I can't even look at it. They're slaughtering babies?
Yes, that's right.
Well, where in the world did you see this?
Well, it's right down the street. It's right here in our neighborhood. I'm sure you've walked by it many times.
What are you talking about? I don't
It's
understand.
right down on the corner, just a couple of blocks down. From here.
Down there?
Yes.
That's a women's health clinic down on that corner that you're talking about.
Obviously, you don't see it for what it is. I do.
Let's see, what else have you got here? Boy, these paintings. You're prolific.
Thank you very much. If there's anything you'd like, make sure to make an offer.
This is some kind of a portrait, it looks like, of a terrorist.
Yes.
Something you saw on the news.
No, again, it's right here in our neighborhood. If you'd only open your eyes. It takes an artist such as myself to open up.
There are terrorists in our...
Right down on the other corner, from the other direction, from the slaughterhouse.
You mean the corner store?
Well, I don't know what you see when you look, but
Do you have anything more uplifting? Something that maybe inspires you or makes you feel good or shows some beauty in the world? Or
Well, there's this one here. I'm feeling protected. No harm can come to me. This is a beautiful painting.
Yeah, actually it is a beautiful painting.
It's a cloak of protection that covers me, and no one can hurt me or my family, you see, when I'm under this protection. I call it AR-15.
Okay. This one is just a very large painting filled with hundreds of subjects, and they all seem to be sort of angels and saints, and they have halos. And
The U.S. military. That's the title of that painting, the U.S. military.
all right. Oh, I see over here on the other side of your studio, you've got some. You also do portrait work. You do a lot of different types of paintings. I see you do portraits. Is this some? Wow, this one again, very striking. This is a portrait of.
That's my wife.
And she's in labor.
Yes, she's giving birth to our first child.
And you painted this.
That's right in the delivery room. No video or snapshots for me. I brought my easel and my canvas and my paints right into the delivery room.
And the doctors were okay with this?
Actually, no, they were quite upset about the whole thing.
Some other portraits here, Clint Eastwood, John Wayne's, some celebrity portraits.
Yes, that's from a series of paintings I did. It's called Good Guys with Guns. Good Guys with Guns, yes.
Wow. And, speaking of portraits, look at this. This is a self-portrait.
Yes, that's right. That's a self-portrait.
Unusual, though. Your face is planted on the floor with a big foot, a big boot on your head, and you're actually, as well, at the same time being strangled. So there's a boot on your head holding you down to the floor, and two hands coming and strangling you.
Yes, that's right. That's one of the federales, you see, the feds with their penchant for regulation. They decided that there was too much lead in my favorite brand of artist paints, you see, and they regulated the lead right out of my paints.
So you wanted to symbolize that by presenting yourself with a boot.
There's no symbolize. That's actually what happened. The feds came right in and they put their boot on my head and smashed me into the floor here right in my studio. It happened right over there. And then another one strangled me while they took the lead out of my paint.
And this actually happened.
Of course it did. I only paint from real life, you see.
A lot of artists will do landscapes, nature painting. Do you go out into nature?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I do. That stack over there, to take a look, see if there's anything you like.
I don't see any nature paintings. There's this stack.
Yes, that stack.
This stack has, I see there's a painting of strip mining and several paintings of development and what looks like maybe the Keystone Pipeline or some big pipeline. It's all a lot of trucks and excavation equipment and large machinery.
Yes, that's right.
Well, I'm sorry, I don't understand. I thought you told me these were paintings of nature, natural beauty.
Well, of course, the inherent beauty of nature is ultimately exposed when it's extracted for profit, you see. That's the inherent beauty of nature, is the fact that the raw materials can be extracted and the beauty is then exposed through profit.
So that's your idea of a nature painting, a beautiful natural landscape.
Yes, that's right. The beauty is extracted. That's the inherent place of the beauty.
Well, thanks for showing me your paintings, and you sell a lot of these.
Oh, they're very popular. Everyone loves my paintings all across the country, all across the world. Actually, I get a lot of exposure, and I work very hard at them. And yes, I'm selling my paintings at a record clip. I'm doing quite well.
All right. Well, thanks. Oh, here's one more. Wow.
Oh, I'm sorry. That wasn't meant to be seen. Put that back in the stack, lest the children walk in and see this. This is very sensitive.
Yes, I can see that it is. It's a quite graphic sex scene. I can see quite graphic.
Yes, that's right. It's called the gay agenda. The gay agenda. It's the gays forcing me to be gay with them.
Oh yeah, I do recognize. Yeah, that's you again. That's kind of a self-portrait. But why would you paint that?
Well, you see, it's because it's the gay agenda, and that's what they want. The gays, that's what they want.
All right.
Again, please put it back in the stack. It's meant to be not out on display.
Oh, sure, I could do that.
I take it out late at night, and I stare at it for hours and hours. But it's not meant to be seen by the children.
Got it. All right, thanks for the tour of the studio.
Well, thank you. Come again.
Hola, amigo.
You know, I went home last Thanksgiving to see my folks, right? They're up there near the Wausau area there, and all the lakes and resorts and golf courses are. You should see it now. It's so built up since I was a kid, right? But it's still, nature and all of that. They haven't done away with that. It's looking good. So anyway, I go, and there's this big tree right in front of me as I'm taking this bend in the road about a mile south of my folks' house as I'm driving up there from, the south. And there's this big tree, and I couldn't believe it. It looked just like, who is that guy from that show. Remember? What was his name? Uncle Jed. Buddy Ebsen. That's the guy. Yeah, sure. Looked just like him. The tree from the particular angle right around the bend as I was coming up to it looked just like Buddy Ebsen. And so that would be weird enough, right? You'd think. But the reason that it looked, Jed Clampett, that was his name. Yeah, right. Come and listen to a story about a man named Jed, a poor mountaineer, barely kept his family fed. Remember that? Everybody saw that. It was terrible. That was the one that Newton Minow, remember? Newton Minow was in I think in the Johnson administration, LBJ. He was a secretary of something. Maybe he was a FCC guy because he was critiquing the landscape of American broadcasting, and he cited Beverly Hillbillies, the show where the Jed Clampett character was, as an example of how horrible everything was in broadcasting. And and that not to be confused with Nixon's vice president, Spiro Agnew. He's the one who said the famous nattering nabobs of negativity, talking about the press. He was like the first guy to call like fake news. He didn't call it fake news. He just said they were negative and always bad, and they didn't like them. So not to be confused with him. Newton Minow was the one who said vast wasteland. That was his famous quote. Vast wasteland that broadcasting had become. So anyway, I'm driving and I see this tree that looks like Jed Clampett from the Beverly Hillbillies, and I thought that was pretty great. But the reason I'm telling you this story, that would just be one thing, like the potato chip that looks like Herbert Hoover or something. We've all heard those stories, or the Jesus in the toast. Those are just little weird things that happen. So I probably wouldn't even be telling you this story except the fact that this tree looked like Buddy Ebsen, Jed Clampett. And right next to it, as I turned the bend there, the reason the bend is important because I couldn't see it until I made the turn, then the littler tree right next to it looked exactly like Granny. No kidding. I'm not kidding. No, I'm not even kidding about this. It's like the real thing. And I never noticed this when I was a kid. I don't know, trees grow. And I guess when I was younger, maybe they looked like Punky Brewster or something. I don't know. They didn't look like Jed and Granny. So there's Granny, Remember Granny? She's the one who didn't want to take the trip, and they put the rocking chair up on the top of the big truck there. And hey, Granny, come in. She's in the song too, right? Let's just manage you, poor mountaineer. Then one day he'll shoot his foot up through the ground, come bubbling crude. And Granny didn't want to go. I thought she was in the song, but maybe not now that I think about it. So there, up there in Wausau, Wisconsin, on the bend in the road, just as you're south as you're coming in, take a look next time you're there. There's Uncle Jed and Granny, and the landscape of today's television, I don't know if it's much worse. We'll talk about that another time. I got lots of opinions on the TV and on broadcasting in general, because that's kind of my thing anyway. So, all right. This is Chucky Bucky. I'll see you next time.
Hello?
Hello.
What can I do you for?
Well, you can get out. This is my land now.
Excuse me?
I say this is my land now.
The house too?
Yeah, sure, the house as well.
Well, you can't just put me out and live here and call it your own.
Well, I'm doing it.
Look, I've lived here all my life. My parents, my grandparents, as long as anyone can remember. From the beginning of time, as far as anybody knows.
Well, there you are. It's mine now.
By whose authority?
What?
By whose authority?
By my own authority. If you don't get out, I'll just have to kill you.
Hey, I've got a family, a wife, young kids.
I'll kill them too. I don't care.
I'll fight you.
You'll lose.
Well, I suppose you're right about that.
So...
Let me get a few of my things.
No. Just what you got on your back. I'll have the rest.
Well, I got a pot of chicken soup on the stove over there.
Don't worry, I'll take care of that.
Just keep it on low.
All right.
This is really quite a disappointment.
Off you go. This is quite nice. Soup isn't bad. Ooh, an old-fashioned pepper grinder. Delightful. Yes?
Out you go.
What? I just got here. Who are you?
I'm the king.
The king of what?
I'm just the king, that's all. And this land is mine.
Who says?
I do.
You do?
Yes.
You can't just say it's yours.
Yes, I can. I'm the king.
The king of what?
I'm just the king, and as such, I have divine right.
Divine right?
God says, get out.
How did God get into this?
Look, clear off, or my men will kill you. It's as simple as that. Men, stand ready.
I'll fight them.
You'll lose.
I suppose you're right.
There we go. All right, then. Do I smell chicken? Needs pepper. Who dares to knock at the king's door?
It's the people.
The who?
The people.
We coming to put you out. You must have me confused. Hey, okay, fellas, we're good. Yay! Drag him out of here. Leonard, come in here. Did the council draw up the papers?
Oh, yeah. This land is ours, right and proper.
That's nice.
You got this one. I got the one next door. Then Bob and Cindy are next to me. And Phil and Patty, they're across the street.
That's nice.
All right, you two. You and all the neighbors, out you go. We're taking this hill.
What are you talking about here? What are you?
This is war, man. Don't you read the papers? Out. All of us. Are you deaf, soldier?
Look, I've got legal papers for this property, see?
You want a whole battalion up your ass?
All right. We're leaving.
Leave the papers here.
General, open this door.
Mr. President.
Fine job, General.
Thank you, sir.
You and your men are a credit to your, is that chicken soup I smell?
Yes, sir. I think so.
So it is. Looks good, too. Could use some salt and pepper, though. General, you and your men, go get me some salt.
Salt, sir?
Yes, General, salt. Whatever it takes. Bear any cost.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
And while you're out, find some more land. We're expanding the nation.
Yes, sir.
And don't forget to protect the land we've already taken.
Yes, sir. Goodbye, sir.
General.
Yes, sir.
The papers?
The papers, sir?
The papers, man. The papers in your hand.
Oh, of course, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah. I run a clean administration. Let's not let anyone accuse us of not doing things legally and by the book.
Yes, sir. Here are the papers.
Very, very good. Well, I'll have to make quite a few changes to these documents to reflect modern necessities, conditions of the new parameters, etc. I wonder if they've got anything to drink around here. Yes?
Mr. President, have I got a deal for you?
I'm listening.
You give me this house and all the land surrounding it, and I'll build factories and businesses and banks and housing developments and retail districts while you won't recognize the place.
Well, the people do need those things.
Sure they do.
Well, now, wait a minute now. What do I get out of this?
Why, taxes, of course. Loads and loads of taxes.
Think of it. The economy will boom. I'm sure to be reelected.
Sure. The voters will love you.
Yes. Love.
So it's a deal?
It's a deal.
Great.
Here are the papers. The land is yours.
Thank you, Mr. President. You won't regret it.
You'll notice my government has made quite a few changes.
Changes, sir?
The papers, the deed, the bill of sale, permits, the impact statements, property rights, water rights, mineral rights, inspections, etc.
Oh, yes, sir.
Et
Yes, sir. All part of doing business. I don't like it, but as long as you and I are simpatico, well, I won't make a fuss.
All right, then. I'll be on my way.
Goodbye, Mr. President.
If my general comes back with the salt, well, just sprinkle a little bit in that soup there, and, well, you can send him on his way. He has his orders.
Yes, sir.
Unless, of course, there's anything he could do for you. He's completely at your disposal.
Well, that's very kind of you, sir. Thank you.
See you soon.
See you, Mr. President. Yeah, we'll have to knock down a few walls here, maybe gut the whole place. You know, this does need a little salt and pepper. These cupboards have got to go for sure. Ooh, wine. Come in. Oh, hi, boss. How's everything down at the bank?
Fine. Everything in order here?
Yes, the president was very cooperative.
Good, good. Well, you can be on your way.
You're the boss.
Are all the papers in order?
Oh, yes. Right there on the counter.
Where?
Right there next to the soup.
Oh, yes. It's gone.
Well, I'll just be on my way then.
Here, put this for sale sign on the front door as you leave.
Sure thing, boss. Hi, I saw the sign outside. This house is for sale then?
Why, yes, it is. Have you collateral?
Well, I just got a good job at the factory down the road there.
Well, now, I'm afraid that won't be enough to qualify.
My wife also got a full-time job.
Oh, well, why didn't you say so? Of course, yes.
Of course, the kids will have to go into full-time daycare now, but hey, that's just the way things are.
Just the way they are.
Not like any of us can control that, right?
That's right.
So here's the down payment.
And here are the papers, my good boy. You are now a proud property owner.
Thanks. Gosh, thanks very much.
Goodbye.
Goodbye. Hey, who the heck put all this pepper in my soup?
Talkers on the right, spokespersons and media pundits, love using the straw man technique. The straw man, of course, one of the logical fallacies. And logical fallacies are either mistakes you make in your arguing, logical mistakes, or, more nefariously, they're techniques that people use intentionally to get around the rules of logic. It still sounds like logic. It still sounds like a logical argument. But actually, the listener is being bamboozled in some way, deceived or dismissed or taken on a twisty, curvy road into the land of where the arguer wants to go. Well, the straw man technique is one of these, and it's one of the most common. Simply put, you create a straw man, which is easy to tear apart. You create your opponent's argument in such a distorted way that then it's easy for you to tear them down. The right especially is doing this to the left all the time, creating a liberalism that I've never experienced in my life as a liberal. I don't know what you'd call me. I guess I'm a liberal, I'm a lefty, I'm a commie, much further to the left than your run-of-the-mill liberal. And that's kind of my point. For you right-wing pundits who are creating straw man arguments, well, I'm your straw man. My friends are mostly liberal, and I'm always fighting with them about not being left enough. Let me give you some examples to make this clear. A right-winger will say liberals want to confiscate all your guns. No, they don't. It's not even close. Liberals in this country, and might I add, a great majority of conservatives, agree that they just want reasonable gun laws. And you know what those are. You've heard the list. Universal background checks, waiting periods, age limits, a ban on assault-style weapons. There's almost universal agreement. Some of these things are up into the 90 percentile bracket of agreement. Liberals want to take away all your guns. Nope, that's a straw man argument. And why do I know this? Because I'm the straw man. I'm raising my hand. I, Charles Bursell, am your straw man. Yeah, I do. I want to confiscate all guns. That's why I know your argument is bogus, because I'm the only one who wants this. I argue with my liberal friends all the time. Liberals, capital L liberals, bend over backwards to defend the Second Amendment. Oh, we believe in the Second Amendment. We just think that reasonable laws, they're so frickin' reasonable. Oh, and they don't want to offend hunters and people for whom guns are part of their culture. I have no respect for hunters. I think your culture is really f***ed up. If you think that shooting animals for sport is fun and it's a sport, well, then I have no respect for you at all. I don't have to respect your culture. Some cultures throw virgins into volcanoes. I don't have to respect that. Again, I'm your straw man. I'm your straw man. This is why I know. Another good example, open all the borders. Just open them up. No borders. We don't want any borders. Just let everybody in. That's ridiculous. No liberal I know wants that. Why do I know? Because I want it, and I argue with them all the time. No, that's what I want. Take them away. Just take a big eraser and rub out the borders. Just free
free movement around the globe. That's what I want. That's what I want. I'm your straw man. You're talking about me and maybe a half a dozen of my online friends. You know, you want to scare people, go ahead and tell them these things. But if you're honest, you'll say, no, it's not liberals. It's Charles Bursell and half a dozen of his friends. But the problem is that won't scare anybody. At least I don't think it will. Liberals don't think these things. You guys are just not nearly as far apart as you think you are. You're just using this as a scare tactic. And I'm calling you on it. Yeah, liberals, they love their land. They love their money, just like you do. Liberals don't want to take your money. Oh, that's a big one. The whole redistribution of wealth. They want to take your money and give it to lazy people. No, they don't. I do. That's why I know. Because that's what I want. I think the tax system should be so progressive. I think it should be so progressive, and it includes a negative income tax so that when it's all said and done, everybody has the exact same income for the year. From the highest CEO to the kid with the paper route to the doctor and the teacher and the junkie on the street. Every single person, by the time the tax system has done its thing at the end of the year, everybody has the exact same income. Nobody wants that. I want that. And a half a dozen of my buddies online want that. So if you're going to scare people with that and tell them that's what liberals want, well, you're lying. It's not what liberals want. It's what I want. But again, I'm not going to scare anybody. Straw man. I'm your straw man. I'll give you one more example, and then we'll. I think I've made my point. The military. Oh, Lord Almighty. You hate the military. No. Liberals love the military. Everybody loves the military. Everybody gets on their goddamn knees for the military. You see a guy in uniform in the airport, and you stop and you bow down. Oh, thank you for your service. Everybody loves the military. Conservatives, liberals, everybody. They don't hate the military. No, again, that's me. I got no time for that. The military is 99% just the tool of the oligarchy. They're a corporate tool. They're out there making life safe for rich guys, protecting their wealth and going and stealing wealth. That's what the military is used for now. And just putting on a uniform doesn't make you a hero. You could be a drug dealer or a rapist, or you could be a lot of things. Putting on the uniform doesn't change that. And we know damn well that drug dealers and rapists are serving actively as we speak. So no, that person's not a hero. Putting on a uniform doesn't make you a hero. So yeah, hate the military? Have no respect for the military? You're describing ideas and you're describing opponents that don't exist. You're creating straw men to scare your listeners, your viewers, into taking your point of view so that the conservative worldview then is the only thing that will save us from the calamity of a lefty worldview. But you're just lying. You could say exactly what you're saying, but you say, no, that's Charles Bursell and half a dozen of his buddies. Then you'd be telling the truth, but then your little technique doesn't work because nobody's scared of me and my buddies. There you go. I'm your straw man. Well, thanks for listening. Thanks to Chucky Bucky and the CBP Ensemble. Music by Peter Donalds. Find this and every episode and more at the website charlesbursell.com. You can also follow me on Facebook and Twitter. Listen and subscribe at Apple Podcasts or your favorite platform. Just search Charles Bursell Presents.